Well, dozens of people have been arrested in the wake of the California wildfires. Criminals are trying to capitalize on the crisis by taking from the vulnerable, looting damaged homes, scamming evacuees, putting a surcharge on housing or essential goods. LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman is joining us live right now to discuss the protections being put into place. Mr. Hochman, thank you so much for being with us. Firstly, how concerned are you about the level of criminal activity in the aftermath of these fires?
You know, the level of criminal activity is quite candidly despicable. We have firefighters literally putting their lives on the line every day to save lives in our homes. We have law enforcement working 24 hours a day to keep us safe and secure. I am one of over 200,000 people who have cooperated in this evacuation. People like my sister lost, their home in Pacific Palisades, and thousands of people have lost their homes. Yet there are criminals who look at this as an opportunity to exploit the most vulnerable people in their lowest moments. We have sent an unmistakably clear message that these people, it's a question of just when, not if, they will get arrested, they will get prosecuted, and they will be punished to the full extent of the law. Yesterday, we announced the charges on 9 looters and 1 person who did an arson in Azusa. These looters were involved in the Pacific Palisades and the Eaton fires. They basically were people who went into these residences when the residences were evacuated, yet the police were able to catch them. 2 of these people are looking at life in prison because they're 3 strikers. Another person's looking at 22 years in prison as a second striker. The arsonist is looking up to 9 years in prison, and the other people who went in illegally into these houses, they're looking at 6 years in prison. We're going to throw the book at these looters, these defrauders, these scammers, and this is the warning shot. I'm hoping that they heed this warning and don't commit this crime, but please know that if they do, justice will be swift and it will be significant.
Mr. Hochman, one of the arrests that was made from the Woodland Hills was of a man who reportedly was using a blowtorch to start a fire. This person was arrested, held for a felony probation violation. He is said to be in the country illegally. What can you tell us about that and the possibility of the sanctuary city law coming into play in this case?
So again, if someone commits a crime here in Los Angeles County, especially during these fires, they will be held fully accountable. What happens to their immigration status afterwards will be a separate discussion. But the message is not just to anyone out there who might be documented or undocumented, it's to any potential criminal out there. This is not the time to be committing criminal activity in Los Angeles County. You will be held fully accountable for your actions.
We are starting to see the ATF involved, and there are lawsuits concerning the Eaton fire. Talk to us about the investigations that you are specifically looking into, whether that be arson, electrical equipment, or anything else.
So a Los Angeles Regional Task Force has been set up to determine the cause and origin of the fires. They are bringing in some of the most expert ATF specialists from across the country who have basically, in fires across this country, they bring in this team to determine the cause and the origin. Right now, however, the firefighters' #1 priority is putting out the fires. Law enforcement is keeping it safe and getting it stabilized. So what I anticipated, that this type of analysis is going to probably take weeks, sometimes months to determine, but it will be done. And at the end of the day, we'll know what set off each one of these fires. If it was man-made and it was intentional, which is arson, we'll go after the arsonist with the full fury of the justice behind us.
Mr. Hochman, what wildfire scams is your office tracking right now, whether it be contractors, insurance adjusters, car towing?
And all the above. It's very sad. We're looking at every type of service that's being provided to people who've evacuated or who've lost their homes. People should know that if you raise your rates more than 10% above what you had it before the wildfires, that is price gouging. It's both a crime, which will be prosecuted. You can be civilly charged and as well. And quite candidly, if your name or your company's name comes out, you will be shamed. Because how embarrassing, how disgraceful it would be that you are taking advantage of people at their lowest moments. We've also seen internet scams. People who want to donate very generously are being targeted by scammers. So, for instance, fake GoFundMe sites have been set up. If you go to GoFundMe itself, it's got all the protections necessary to make sure that your dollars will go to where the dollars should go. But people have set up fake GoFundMe sites. So I tell people be very careful when you want to give money, particularly over the internet, that you know the organization you're giving it to, that the links are secure, that you are not being pressured in any way to give out that information. Please never give out your social security number. Do not give out any personal identifiers to anyone that you don't know very well or an organization that you have checked out. We're also seeing this with insurance. Now we have insurance scams that are up and running. And when the money starts coming in from the federal government and the state government, and I mean billions of dollars for this recovery, we're going to see an enormous amount of fraud because people look at this, criminals look at this as an opportunity. That's where I come in. That's where the DA's office comes in, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the City Attorney's Office. We have over 1,000 prosecutors collectively to go after these criminals, and we will.